Hello, Sharon Marie Scott from Life Turned On. I'm gonna talk about something pretty controversial today, and it's really kind of the impetus for me writing these books, for me getting involved in the alternative lifestyles and the kink and BDSM communities, and it has to do with the traumas of my childhood. I didn't grow up in a spiritual home, but we did grow up in a lot of survival, and parenting was not always present. And my experiences of that childhood meant that I ended up experiencing inappropriate touch when I was 5 and when I was 6 by 2 different people. And, they were not violent experiences. And my 5 and 6-year-old body experienced arousal and pleasure from those experiences. So it's not to say that they weren't wrong. Clearly they were. I had no way to consent to them. But to say that they were abusive or violent would be wrong to say. So what happened for me is, because they were trying to also help, keep it all a secret, I developed this crossed wiring in my system around pleasure and shame. And so every time my body would become aroused, or I would become aroused by life, my body would shut down and I would feel shame. And that translated to me being a sexually available adult as well. So when my body got turned on, it would shut down, and I didn't realize the connection until one lover happened to point out what he'd seen in my body shut down. And that ended up sending me on a journey that took a while, but was crucial in me healing sexually, me reclaiming the pleasure of my body, and reclaiming the innocence of my arousal and my pleasure. And so I'm sharing this as inspiration to anyone else who has felt shame over the things that maybe happened to them when they were younger, the things that happened that were out of their control, and that created these forbidden desires and these secret longings that we've been conditioned to feel ashamed about. Because that is really the impetus for this book, Forbidden Alchemy, transmuting taboo into erotic medicine, because that's what I've done with my life. And I have experienced such a depth of aliveness since healing these wounds and expanding my consciousness. And I want everyone else to feel that same depth of aliveness. And I'm hoping that the book touches people in a way that allows them to do exactly that. So, Forbidden Alchemy releases on 11/11. There's a pre-sale link in my profile should anyone be interested. And I'll see you next time.